We are back. New York City Baseball, past, present, and future. This is a Med edition, and my co-host is Marty Rose. I'm Ralph Tyko, and it's the Comfortably Zoned Radio Network. Hey, Mert.
Hi, Ralph. How's everything?
Nice talking to you. Everything's fine with you. We talked off the air a little bit.
Right. Good.
Getting ready for the holidays, which is what it is.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
It is. Expensive is what it is, yes.
Yes. That's, well, you know, for every $50 one spends, you can send a Chinese kid to college. Just by...
Yeah, it's true that, man. True that.
Yeah.
That is it.
Anyway, we're going to talk a little Met ball tonight, and I had a topic that always interests me, and I want to go over some of the best and worst trades the Mets have made. And if we start early, I'll throw one out there. The trade for Bob Miller, or giving up Bob Miller, righty Bob Miller, who went on a really good career. And they ended up picking up Tim Harkness, and I think it was Larry Burright. I could be wrong about that. Another infielder that didn't hit at all. I think that ended up hurting them for a couple of years because Miller in '62 was the most reliable Met pitcher, and he was very versatile. He can start, relieve, and it wasn't back in the days of closers. I think that came later. Notwithstanding, the Mets would have had one back in those days. That's for sure. And then I'm going to throw out the best trade the Mets made in the early years, and you tell me if you don't agree with me. And
okay. Go ahead.
The best trade they made was getting Roy McMillan.
Okay.
Cincinnati or the Braves, because I don't remember which one it was, but he helped develop Bud Harrelson.
Okay.
And so
I got one for you. I didn't know you were going back that far, but I got one from that era as well.
Okay.
Let's trade Tom Parsons to I think it was the Colt 45s at that time for Jerry Grody.
Oh, first solid catcher the Mets had. He had a gun. That's a great trade they made. And
oh, boy.
You got it. He served them not only in '69 when they won it all, but he was still around in '73. And he was a hell of a competitor. And
oh, yeah. And another one from that time period was Steve Rinko for Don Clendenin.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Steve Rinko and a couple of other guys. I don't know. Collins, somebody named Collins. I don't even know who that is, but yeah, the '69 team. I mean, Grody and Clendenin. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
How about bad trades, Bert?
Bad ones? Well, I have a few. I don't know what the worst one possibly could be. I mean, everybody off the top of their head would probably say Nolan Ryan for Gozzi, you know. But Nolan Ryan, I don't know. I don't think he liked it here. I mean, not here. In New York. I don't think he liked it in New York. And he was not at the time, what was he, like the fifth starter at the time or something? I don't know if he got his, well, obviously he didn't come into his own yet you could see that he had electric stuff, but I don't think he had come into his own at that time. But besides the Seaver trade, which was ridiculous, how about when they gave up Amos Otis? I mean,
yes, another one for
for
Joey Foy.
Joe Foy, my God.
He had a 10-year career as a center fielder, and I don't
Terrific
think
career.
in those times they didn't have a better center fielder than Otis. You can say Mookie came along and Dykstra, what have you.
Well, it was 1970, so I mean, I guess they still had, the guys that they won with in '69, right, at that time.
Right.
So.
Well, speaking of that, they gave up two guys right after the season. I don't know if you can say they give it up. They failed to tender Ray Nice. And
Right.
And they traded Mitchell. I'm not saying these are bad decisions.
Yeah, Kevin Mitchell.
Heartless. They broke up the clubhouse from a numbers standpoint. They weren't all that bad. They got Kevin McReynolds for Mitchell.
Yeah, he was another guy that didn't want to be here. I don't think. Yeah.
Well, he was a super heavy duty head case.
Yeah. Well, Kevin Mitchell.
Ironically, they gave him away. They thought he was going to influence Gooden and Strawberry.
Right. Right.
He didn't do drugs. Turns out he didn't do drugs. He had some mental problems, but he wasn't a drug addict. So I can make a case that wasn't the worst trade they made on paper.
No.
It certainly hurt their clubhouse.
Yeah. Well, I got another bad one, but I don't recall the reasons behind. Or maybe it was the Mookie Wilson thing when they traded Dykstra and McDowell for Juan Samuel. Whoa. That was. Boy.
That one's going to leave a mark.
Yeah.
No question about that.
Oh boy.
And then they traded McGraw. Speaking of Philadelphia, they traded Tug McGraw for John Stearns. Not really the worst trade they could have made.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Stearns was pretty solid. He was a good hitter. And,
yeah.
But again, you want to mess with the clubhouse and the continuity of a team and all that stuff. You shouldn't do that. I think the teams that trade as few times over the years as possible really succeed, because the best trades sometimes are the trades never made.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
Okay, how about the later years, the middle years, say?
Well, let's see. Okay. I don't have too many bad ones. I got more good ones than bad ones, I think.
Bring them on. I'd love to hear that.
Well, how about Mazzilli for Ron Darling and Walt Terrell? That wasn't bad.
Oh, yeah. Wow. That was a super one.
82.
Mazzilli had charisma, and but he never came into his...
Right. He was okay. But he never became what they thought he might be.
And obviously, Darling was terrific, and Walt Terrell was a super relief pitcher for them for a while. So,
yeah.
Good.
And
good
how about?
It may not have been a trade. What did you think of the Bonilla signing?
Well, at the time, I guess we didn't know about the ridiculous contract that he's still collecting on to this day, which is unbelievable.
Yeah, he deferred all that money. I think he gets
yeah. Yeah, he gets quite a bit.
I don't blame him for being smart to defer that money.
No.
Keep it in the family, so to speak, and you can blow it all. You can't blow it if there's more money coming in next year.
Right, that's true. But he obviously never turned out anything close to what they thought he could be. So that was a miscalculation on ownership, GM's part at the time. No question.
Do you remember how they got Felix Mian? That was another good trade for them.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
We'll look that up.
Cool. That one I don't recall.
Next week.
Yeah, and I'm not.
Oh, that was
I'm
fun,
not. Yeah, I got a couple of more though, Ralph. I mean,
please.
Sid Fernandez. They got him in '81 for Bob Baylor and Carlos Diaz. And don't forget some of the best ones we don't even discuss yet. When they got Gary Carter, or when they got Keith Hernandez, or Mike Piazza, or Syndergaard. I mean, those are some of the best deals they ever made. And
absolutely,
they all led to getting to the World Series, if not winning it, but getting there at least. With Carter, they gave up. I guess the main guy was UB Brooks.
That was sad for UB Brooks. I think that was in '85. He'd been
84, I think. Yeah.
And they traded him, and they won the next year. And,
UB Brooks, Herm Winningham, and Floyd Yeomans. And the year before that, they got Keith for Neil Allen and Rick Ownby. I mean, jeez,
That's only because of the drug thing. He was scaring people with that.
Yeah.
So.
And of course, what they got for Piazza was a steal, obviously. I mean,
yes.
With the Marlins, my goodness, they gave up like nobody. Well, not Mookie, Preston Wilson, and a couple other guys.
That never panned out.
No.
Yeah.
So, so I think all in all, there's more good than bad. Another bad one would have been when they gave up Kazmir, but Kazmir really at the time he had a lot of potential and people were really upset, but he never really turned out to be that good. He was okay, but
you remember who they
I mean, he was better than. When they traded him, they got Victor Zambrano, and he was the main guy, and some guy named Fortunato, who I don't even remember. So
I remember him with the Brewers years ago, but I could be wrong on that one too. Memory fades sometimes.
Yeah.
Mert, do you remember when the New York Post had a contest for an autographed baseball? And what it was, the first person to send a postcard with the correct starting lineup of the first game would win an autographed ball.
Oh, really?
Oh, God, I wanted to win that. I must have sent 100 postcards, every configuration of guys starting, and obviously I didn't.
The first game ever, you mean? That
first game ever. Starting lineup.
I remember watching that game. They played the Cardinals. I was watching that game on, some little old black and white TV. I do recall that.
I think they lost 9-0.
Well, it wasn't good. I know remember the score, but
it
it
wasn't
wasn't
good for a
good.
long time. That first year was a disaster, but I think the second year was much more frustrating for Met fans. They won a few more games, but they were no more competitive than they were the year before. They got a lot of publicity for their
ineptness.
A lot of it had to do with Throneberry, and to say it all, Ashburn wouldn't come back. Gave up $32,000. Wouldn't come back for a second year. He says, "This was not going to be me losing. I'm not going to go out losing."
There you go.
It had to be very frustrating.
Oh, sure.
And they
because
had
those guys were used to winning. They had a lot of veteran guys from other teams that were used to winning. So, but they were basically all over the hill, at
Absolutely.
the time.
And so they chose those guys for the publicity's sake, the way I look at it.
And the gate, yeah.
Right. And you may look back and say, well, how did that happen? But it's always been that way. Since the days of Bill Veeck, it is all about getting butts to sit in the seats. And that's
certainly.
Casey was amazing. No pun intended. You have a Casey Stengel story that you remember that you want to share from those days?
Man, the only one that sticks out in my mind, and we've mentioned it before, is the reason that they picked Hobie Landreth first in the draft. That just sticks out in my mind more than anything else. When they asked him, why'd you pick Hobie Landreth first in the draft, and he said, well, if you don't have a catcher, you're going to have a lot of pass balls. So
he was clever, no question.
That's one. Yeah,
and he was a great instructor too. And it wasn't an acquisition, but early on, Weiss and Casey hired Whitey Herzak to run the minors and to be an instructor at what is it? The pre-spring guys would come in. Their best prospects. They invented that. I can't think what they call them. Instructional league, basically.
Okay.
And,
right.
Herzak was a Yankee farmhand, and he passed on a lot of Casey's tutelage over the years. And he was very, very instrumental in them winning it in '69. So
yeah.
Got to pay homage to.
Yeah, wasn't there some controversy when he left the organization? Do you remember that?
No, I don't. I was in California at that time.
Oh, I remember if he thought that maybe it was for the manager job after Gil, or why he didn't. Yeah, I think that might have been it. They never promoted him to anything of any substance, and then of course he goes to Kansas City and turns into like a mini dynasties over there. Yeah, he was great. That was a big mistake on their part. No question about it. Yeah.
The interim managers after Casey were people like Wes Westrom and Frank Howard was an interim manager for a while. They could have used an Alvin Dark or maybe not Alvin Dark. He was a racist piece of shit. But they could have used Billy Martin, who wasn't at all racist and was fiery and would not have settled for losing. Not only that, he never did. He went to Detroit. He went to Minnesota, Texas, won in all those places as well.
Yeah,
First year,
absolutely.
of course, he wore out his welcome, but it would have turned things around, I thought, and a fiery guy like him would have been nice.
No question.
But they didn't, and still, the manager that they chose, speaking of trades, they traded Bill Dennehy, kind of a mediocre pitcher, to Washington for the rights to have Gil Hodges manage them.
There you go.
You mentioned Grody, and I don't know if we talked about this. In spring training in 1969, there were only two people on the Mets that said, "This is our year. We're going to win." And that was Gil Hodges and Jerry Grody.
Really?
Yeah. So.
Well, somebody that knew about the pitching.
Oh yeah.
No question.
And he had an arm. He had a terrific arm. Even Johnny Bench said, if he came to Cincinnati, I'd be playing third.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Those are his words.
That's something.
A good ball player, good fiery guy with an attitude of
no question.
left it all on the field.
Yeah. Jeez.
So, before we go, is there anything that we can hope for? Maybe for Christmas, we still have
I know.
for a catcher, and I've been hearing LaCroix is just simply not available.
Right, it probably isn't.
So,
no, it's been pretty quiet. When the winter meetings ended, there really wasn't a lot of activity overall in those winter meetings for most teams. Yeah, nobody. Yeah. So I think what's Alderson said was that we laid the groundwork for some stuff. So, I guess what that means is that other teams out there know what they want and what they might be willing to give up. So I would think that after the holidays, nothing's going to happen like between now and probably after Christmas or New Year's. But after that, we've got like 6 weeks basically before pitchers and catchers. So I would think that by early January, things should pick up again, because there's a lot of guys that are still out there. Especially, not that the Mets are going to go after any of those. They don't need any outfielders, and they obviously can't use a DH. A lot of the free agents out there are outfielders and DHs. But I'm sure that
will Lagares play center field for them? He's healthy, and I think he was a Gold Glover 2 years ago.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. If they don't get rid of Jay Bruce, they're trying like hell to get rid of Jay Bruce. Because what they want, I think what they want is they want Granderson to play right, and they probably want to platoon Conforto and Lagares in center. But if they still have Jay Bruce and paying him $13 million, then he's going to play right field, and Granderson is going to play probably more center. I don't know what they're going to do with Conforto. There's probably a market for him. I don't know if they want to trade him. He's not making any money, and he still has a lot of potential.
Oh,
So,
yeah, he had a great year the year before. He came in.
Yeah. So that's a quandary that they're in, you know.
You don't hear the expression sophomore jinx much anymore.
No, you don't. No.
And we're expecting a lot from him, and jinx.
I think he got maybe power happy. When he first came up, you remember he was hitting like to all fields.
Gap to gap,
you know?
yes.
Yeah, and like, then all of a sudden, maybe they're just throwing him more breaking pitches and he just, you know, was trying to hit everything out of the ballpark. Maybe that was it. But, you know, a lot of guys are saying that they should play him every day no matter what and, you know, give him 500 bats and see what he can do.
He's so much younger than Granderson and even younger than Bruce, quite a bit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
There was a rumor for a while of Billy Hamilton coming over. I don't know if you read that or maybe I'm just dreaming.
No,
I think lead off would be great.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. They've got, you know, Lagares is locked up for another 2 or 3 years, and Grandy's in his last year, but I think they would rather have Grandy out there every day than Bruce because, you know, it's just everybody's saying that
center field. He's a better. Surprisingly, he had a good defensive year. I think
he
had the
did.
best defensive year in a while.
He did. And they're just saying Bruce is one of those guys that doesn't like New York, and you know he probably isn't going to play well here on account of that.
Right.
So.
Well, that some guys do, and some guys don't. I remember Ed Whitson coming to New York with the Yankees.
He was away from his family, living in like a hotel down by LaGuardia Airport. I mean, you know, I could see him why he wasn't happy. You know, I could see that. If being, you know.
Did he ask for out? Has he expressed that? Did he just
not publicly.
Okay.
So not that I know of.
My philosophy is if somebody wants out, you're out. If you don't want to be here, cool. I can understand.
Yeah.
Must be tremendous pressure for a Midwestern guy, and
yeah, sure. Well, being away from your family is the worst part.
Right.
Probably. You know, not that you don't like New York. I mean, I guess I don't know. If guys like New York, they'd be living in Manhattan and taking advantage of things. But, you know, if you're a family guy and you're from out of town and you're not one of these guys that's going to go, you know, out partying all night, then you're not taking advantage of New York, and I could see why you wouldn't like it. But, you know, like Matt Harvey, who takes advantage of New York. And he loves it, and I heard he's doing well also. He was, he said he's right on target, so that's a good thing.
Anything for Zach Wheeler?
The only thing I hear about him is that they're thinking about putting him in the bullpen because they got a boatload of starters, especially with those, you know, Gazelman and Lugo and those guys that showed up at the end of last year and did a really good job. And,
Well, even if they don't
you know,
make the starting rotation, those guys, Lugo and Gazelman, what a long
yeah.
hope they're going to have. Wow.
Yeah, well, one of them could because of Bartolo being gone, you know.
Right.
But Syndergaard's fine. Matt said he's fine. And DeGrom, I'm not 100% sure about DeGrom. He's making progress, but it's only, you know, it's still December, so I think by spring training he should probably be fine also. So,
Who was your favorite all-time Met?
wow. It probably, I mean, I guess when you're younger, guys make a bigger impression on you. So, you know, I gotta go with Tom Seaver. You know, I think he was the best player ever. You know, I was at the game that he struck out 10 guys in a row to end the game. That was, I think I was still in the Air Force, so it was probably 1970, I'm thinking, because I was home. It was in it was in spring, might have been April, and I was like on leave for, you know, I was stationed up in Massachusetts at the time, so I came home like every other weekend, and I think I was home, you know, for a week maybe, and I think, I don't know, me and my brother might have gone to that game. I don't know, I went with somebody. I don't know if it was, I don't know who it was at the time, but yeah, I remember he struck out the last 10 guys in a row. I think it was against the Padres. It was just unbelievable. Just unbelievable. But,
Well, I'm going to name my favorite player. He's not illustrious like Tom Seaver,
okay.
but he's one of the best relief pitchers they ever had, and that, given everything and given his attitude, and you got to believe the Tugger.
Good. Okay. Yeah.
I was in the Air Force and going to Vallejo Junior College, and
Wow.
I don't know if I sat in the student union drinking milk and eating Twinkies. That was my after a long ride in the car to get there, and I'm talking to some guy, and I don't remember if it was the McGraw that was the catcher that came up with the Mets. Actually, I don't think he ever made it. Hank McGraw. Maybe that was Tug. It was Hank. I don't know. But it was either that kid or that kid's younger brother yet. And I tend to think it was his younger brother. And I thought that was pretty cool. He anyway, so I stuck with him and that whole you gotta believe thing in
yeah.
I mean that kept them going, and it was kind of a
Sure.
spoof. I think he was mimicking either Joe McDonald or somebody else that a GM, and all the guy would say was "you got to believe," and Tug was for them with that.
And he'd slap the glove on his thigh. Didn't he do that?
Right
Also?
when he left the mound.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
You know, that whole attitude, it's all attitude, because these guys are just as talented, you know, pretty much the same, with exceptions. Your attitude and what you think and how you think it's going to get done means an awful lot. So,
yeah.
good memories, Mert, of our New York Mets.
Yep.
This has been a wonderful show. I hope you guys have a happy holiday. Say hi to Peg.
Good. And to you and Tally.
Yeah,
excellent.
We plan to
Enjoy.
She's had a stiff neck, and I've had kind of flu-like symptoms.
Yeah, you sound like you have a cold. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of stuffy, but I wouldn't have missed this one for the world. Mert,
Good.
we will
Good.
talk when we do, and
Okay.
next week Yankees, and be well. That's all I can
All
do.
right, you too. I'll be in touch.
Everybody out there, keep on keeping on, because that's the name of the game. You gotta endure sometimes, and we'll catch you on the flip flop. Thank you, Mert.
Okay, Ralph. Good night.
Be well.